Good morning. The weekly jobless claims report just released. 885,000 people have filed for first-time unemployment. That is more than was predicted. They were expecting 815,000, which is still a gigantic number. Here with reaction, Fox News contributor and former Obama economic advisor Robert Wolf, screen left right there, and White House Economic Recovery Task Force member Steve Moore. Steve, since you were involved with this administration, let's start with you. That's not a good number.
No, it isn't. And, you know, Steve, it's heartbreaking because we had the best recovery going on in the history of the United States, getting the unemployment rate down so rapidly, very, very rapid growth. We had the 33% growth in the third quarter. We were growing at a really rapid pace until about the start of December. Right. And what happened is that all over the country, these blue state governors, from Cuomo to Pritzker to Newsom out on the left coast, shut down their economies. You're seeing the tragedy of these restaurants that are going bankrupt right now, even though we know that shutdowns and lockdowns of the economy have almost no impact on the pandemic. And so obviously, if you shut down businesses, Steve, you're going to see people lose their jobs. It is a tragedy. We should stop the shutdowns. Obviously, we want to stop the spread of the virus, but this is a strategy that has not worked, and many businesses are in jeopardy of failing. As you know, the 21 Club in New York is bankrupt now because of these insane lockdowns. Well,
Robert, you know, the problem with the lockdowns is if the state is going to ask somebody to shut down, you got to be able to pay the people, and that's what the PPP was all about. And you know, Congress, you know, the Senate and the House have sat on their hands for the last number of months, waiting to do something. It sounds now like people are actually going to wind up with the stimulus checks directly paid to people, either $600 or $700, $300 per week in jobless benefits, and it sounds like $250 billion in PPP funding that's going to help people who are actually at those restaurants. Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, so Steve, first of all, you know, the super V-shaped recovery that my friend Steve Moore talks about has been a complete hoax. We have 10 million more people.
I think we're past that.
Now, it goes into your point. We have 13 million people that continually have been coming every week with new jobless claims. 1 in 5 restaurants, small businesses. So it's time for the CARES Act 2.0, this $900+ billion to be passed. But the way Steve's predicting and saying it's a blue state versus a red state, these 900,000 people that came for jobless claims for a first time today, trust me, those are in the United States. Steve is making this political. This is not political. When we have 13 million more people unemployed, it's not political. This is not the best recovery ever. It's far from it. It's one of the worst ever. And that's why Trump in 30 days will not be in office, because he didn't know how to handle the pandemic. And that's just facts. We can cause all this point fingers, right, but at the end of the day, look how many people have died. Look at how many people are unemployed. And it's about time Congress is passing a damn bill that we've been actually, both sides, been proposing for months to just get done.
You know, and Steve, Robert makes some good points about the metrics of how many people have, you know, the number of people who have entered poverty for the first time in their lives is heartbreaking. But at the same time, the disconnect is Wall Street, the stock exchange, is near all-time highs. So it's like, look at that number. It's really good. In fact, if you look at the futures right now, we're in the green for today when they open at 9:30. But still, there's all this poverty in the country right now.
Well, look, this is a really important point, and Robert is just wrong on the facts. Robert, I was just in Florida 2 weeks ago. Florida is open for business. They have not shut down their businesses. It's New York, it's California, it's Connecticut, it's New Jersey. The 10 states that have completely locked down their economies all have Democratic governors. And guess what, Robert? The people who are signing up for unemployment insurance are in those states that have shut down their businesses. Right. So that's the important thing to realize. It's just true. By the way, the blue states have unemployment rates that are 2.5 percentage points higher than the states like Georgia and Texas and Tennessee and Utah. Why doesn't the city of New York start opening up its businesses so people can go back to work?
Yeah, good point. All right, Robert, you got the final word.
I mean, let's be clear. One, it's not accurate. We're losing unemployment throughout the country. The pandemic has hit everyone throughout the country. And Steve knows 40% of hospitality and leisure employment, that's throughout the entire nation, including Florida, okay, has been devastated. This is not a blue-red state thing. The economy's being hit for all. And if Steve's so sure and the president's so sure, and you just want to give stimulus checks to the blue state people, go right ahead, because they'll take it. But my guess is people in Georgia, they're glad that a stimulus check is being passed.
Well, I tell you what, Governor DeSantis down in Florida said 2 days ago that he would not shut down the hospitality industry, including the restaurants. So let's see what happens.
But they are.
Not in Florida. All right.
40% of lost jobs.
All right. Robert, you're right about that. But the businesses are open. Robert, right there. And Stephen, we thank you very much.